Morning. Morning, man. Let me get a sound check. Morning. Morning, man. Okay, we're here. We're here Sunday morning, regular Sunday morning with Joe, like Norm. I'm drinking my coffee. I was going to do the grumpy old thing and just go like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want from life, man? What do you want? What do you want from this world? What's a demand? What's a request? What gets earned? What gets taken? What do you want? What do you want from life? What do you want from life? Baby's arm holding an apple. I love that song. Music's interesting. Not too many people in, so we'll kind of wait. And we're going to talk about self-actualization today, the myth of self-actualization. There's been a lot of books written about the myth of self-actualization. Is self-actualization real? I guess it all started with Maslow's hierarchy. Maslow's hierarchy. What is Maslow's hierarchy? Is it a guide to your life, a pyramidal guide to your life? Self-actualization. When you get there, do you self-actualize? Is there something that happens? Is there's like thunder, lightning, bolts of lightning come from the sky and you become a better person? I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's chaos and there's evil people, there's evil women, and we haven't figured out how to take care of our own in our society yet. You think we would have figured that out in America? It was kind of what America was about. Hello, Chewy. America was about, give me your poor, give me your sick, the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, the dreamers. What do you want from life? A lot of questions there. Self-actualization, that's a big topic. That's a big ambiguous topic. And my God, it will put you in a certain sector of realization. Yesterday I was reading about not sexual self-actualization. That was a Freudian strip. So I was trying to figure out how to work that in, but my mind, Hello, Aaron. Hello, everybody. Just waiting for people to come in, just kind of moseying around. I woke up late today and made myself a cup of coffee, put Dougie outside. He didn't like it outside. It was like 80 some degrees out there and it was hot and muggy, and he started barking. He was like a little bitch, and he didn't want to be outside. He's got fur and everything. I got to shave him yet. That's the most saddest part of the whole year for me. It takes me almost a year to get his fur perfect. He's a little white Samoan, so he's really pretty. He's pretty like me. And I got to shave him around. I got to shave his ass so he doesn't bite a hole in it. But then he looks like a dork for a couple months. It must be hell being a dog. He's not going to like it at all. Hello, Gravy Back Bill. Hello, men. Hello, everybody. It's Sunday morning with Trav as Norm. Last 4 years at least. I'm pretty punctual. I do this every Sunday morning for the last 4 years, which has started to ask me questions about like if you do something punctual, if you're really punctual about something on YouTube, does it really matter? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. So I'm just enjoying I got that cinnamony taste out of my coffee yesterday. I guess it was in my grinder. My son had ground some cinnamon, and it was driving me nuts for about 3-4 days what that taste was. And I was like, But today we're going to talk a little bit about self-actualization. Self-actualization, what is it? what is it all about? Is it real? That's what I ask myself when I hear these things. And there's a purposeful thing to this. Self-actualization is what life coaches teach. We have a lot of life coaches, and the first thing they start preaching is self-actualization. You can be like me. I was watching a young man yesterday. He was a very handsome young man, about 24, 25, looking for a YouTube career. Got about 22,000 subscribers because he really is. He's really handsome. I mean, the guy's good looking, and that'll get you 22,000. Your whore garden will grow if you're good looking. Hell, I got 5,000 over on my YouTube whore garden, and people don't understand my YouTube whore garden. I just got sick of YouTube, so I started a whore garden to see how many whores I can get, and and it's quite funny because when you have girls coming around, females, I call it a whore garden because it's just funny. When you got all these girls coming around, what you're going to do is you're going to attract simps, and simps are our business, aren't they? Simps are Mngtow's business. Hello. She goes, are you stuck at another pointless family gathering? Wish you could listen in, folks. Sorry about that. It's a holiday weekend over here, so a lot of us are going to have to do family gatherings and stuff like that. And take your shillelagh, so you can beat off the wild dogs there, Shingles. But I know I'm slow this morning. I am slow this morning. I just pretty much woke up about a half hour ago to 45 minutes. I don't know, not too long ago. And I was supposed to wake up early and do my research on Maslow's hierarchy and everything like that. And I didn't, as always, as norm. So I have to wing it and self-actualize. The myth of self-actualization. Is self-actualization a primary? Well, first we got to look at what Maslow's hierarchy is, and it's the hierarchy of it's a triangular hierarchy of how you're going to guide your life to this self-actualization point. It starts like this. On the bottom, you got food, water, breathing, air, water, the quintessential things in life that you need to survive. Food, water, air, housing. Most cases, they argued about that too. They argued about whether housing was included in the lower levels of I think our government argued against it. Housing was not something that's it's needed, but in a cold climate, people know that housing or extremely hot climate, you will realize that housing is some kind of shelter, is what they called it. Shelters, yeah. It's funny how the government always minimalizes housing so they can keep their filthy little fingers in their grasp on housing, because we don't really have property rights in any of these Western countries. Property rights are out the door because they want to tax you. They want to get their filthy little fingers on your property. So they make the proletariat the enemy, and the proletariat the working people, the guys that build the houses, because the guys who build the houses are the only people who really have the claim on the houses. They're the only people that can say, hey, I built it with my hand. Did you do that? Are you a real human being? Do you have those skills? No, most people aren't. They're just predators. They're just the predators we talk about when we talk about honor and loyalty and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. And I'm drifting off topic again. Oh, I forgot to, hey man, if you're coming in, go your own way. Go your own way, and all your sins from the past are forgiven, and you can start anew in Mngtow, afresh, anew, a new life, self-actualization. So I was thinking yesterday, we were talking about Maslow's hierarchy and self-actualization, and then you got security, employment. They put employment in there. Some dick put employment in there, like employment and jobs were like a biological function of the universe. He says, well, we have these bacteria and we'll grow into animals and we'll mate and we'll reproduce and everything will be happy. And we'll all get jobs like the universe. And the universe screamed out like a Republican, all you bums, just get a job. So we can see how screwed up it's getting. Maslow's hierarchy is getting. The pyramid of that's the second safety level. Being loved and belonging, friendship, family, social interactions and intimacy, affection, love is the third tier of Maslow's hierarchy and self-actualization. And I could talk for hours about belonging and self-love and social interaction and intimacy and everything and how screwed up they got it and all that stuff. But we all know as Mgtows that stuff is just a bunch of lies and it's bullshit and it's just chemicals running around. You don't need people around you. You're not a baby. You're not a baby. That's what they always say. If you leave a baby in its crib and nobody interacts with it, it'll die. Are you sure about that? Are you really sure about that? I'm not really sure about that. It'll just die from loneliness. No, if you leave a baby in its crib and the mother doesn't breastfeed it, nobody takes care of it, yeah, it'll die. Dork. Christ. Yeah, if you leave a baby out in the desert for like a week, it'll die too. That's not a startling scientific revelation. So we can see how screwed up science gets and sociology gets. The fifth level, the fourth level. These used to have 4 levels, and they added a 5th because we're so much smarter nowadays. Is self-esteem, confidence, self-respect. They say respect of others. What they're talking about is in a socialized sense, or in the sociology or the soft sciences, what they're probably talking about is awareness. And I've talked about aware and awareness. You can be aware that a doorknob is an inanimate object, but can you have the awareness to realize that other people are just like you? They think like you, they act like you, they have the same thoughts and biological functions as you. That's when you become aware of the universe that you live in, and there's a certain amount of awareness, and that's when you shed the narcissistic child from yourself. And I think that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about growth and shedding the narcissistic child from us. I had a horrible story. I was thinking about how to insert it into this podcast today. It was about working at a shop. It was a shop that made farm plows, and if you ever made farm plows, it's a horrible, horrible job that hasn't changed since the 1800s. Farm plows are made a certain way, and that's it. Farm plows are made a certain way, and they have to be made a certain way because they can't break off in the fields, and the farmers rely on them. And I worked at one of those companies for about 8 years. Making farm plows, so people, it was an admirable job, I thought, and that point in life, and it paid good. I was the maintenance man, the millwright there, and I was trying to work in the story. We had a certain there was a certain stigma about the shop that had gotten about being one of the worst places in the world to work at, and a local doctor. He was not one of a medical doctor. I can't remember what kind of doctor he was. Had a millennial son that he wanted to teach a lesson to. So he sent his millennial son down and to get a job. We used to go through like 30, 40, up to 300 people a year at the shop. They'd come in, they'd feel the heat, they would do the job for a day, and then they'd leave. And that was supposed to be the lesson for this kid. He pursued a little bit into this thing, and he was just a narcissistic child of a overly rich doctor that lived in the area, and he was going to teach his son a lesson. It's about the working class, about the poor, and we were the poor, the guys that worked at Empire, the guys that worked at the plow company. We were the working poor, and as the father seen it, and he sent the son into there, and he actually made it past grinders, and he actually made it past his 30 days, and then he started doing. He was quite a cocky little shit, and he started doing what were they, subsoilers, what you call a subsoiler, and that's one of the first tests for working on the line. It's a big piece of steel about this. It's shaped like this, and it's got 2 points on the end, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It goes underneath the soil, and it breaks that first line. You usually use a subsoiler, then you use a corn plow or a beet plow, whatever you want, or you chop with corn plows. They're the round discs, and then you'll go with the plow, and then seed. But he was doing subsoilers. They're about, about 30 pounds a piece, and they're hard to throw. They come out red hot, big pieces of the chunks of metal. They come out of the furnace red hot. You throw them, and you do that. And he was carelessly being careless, and he was mad about life, and he was a cocky young man, and he was on holes, and just punches 2 holes in the middle process in the subsoiler, so you can bolt it on, and then you grind it from there, and then work the hole so it's an easy fit for the farmer. And I was watching him. I was standing back watching the line work, making sure everything. And that was my job, the maintenance man. I was the millwright, make sure all the processes were right, the heats were right, the furnaces were burning right, which we had a real problem with this one furnace. I'll tell you about that someday. It was really, and it would go in and out of the furnaces, and there was processes in between. You know it. You worked in the shop. You know how these things work. And there was presses, and the young man was upset, and he was mad, at life because his father had taken him away from his cushy life, and his father had made him work at this place that was 114 plus degrees every day, and he was mad, so he threw the subsoiler and I said, hey. And in a fit of rage, and he hit the machine, and 200 tons of machine came down and smashed the die, and pieces flew everywhere. And if you ever had a die explode, you know pieces will go inside of you. And they flew everywhere, and it jammed the machine, and I had to back it up. I had to reverse everything. I had to shut the line down, which is not a good process. And because one little boy with a father that thought he needed a lesson in life, but that weekend was a weekend quite like this, and a lot of the guys like me were looking for some overtime so we can plan our vacation days for the future. It was like, when am I going to take my vacation? I was going to take mine in 2 weeks. Ricky was going to take his in the next week, so he needed about $1,200 extra for his family to go on vacation. And this was the weekend that we were supposed to be doing that. We were supposed to be working two 12-hour shifts overtime on this thing, and the boy had just wrecked our job. Most of the guys that had volunteered for the job, nobody volunteers to come into that kind of work environment to make overtime. So there was just a bunch of us that do it to make sure the farmers get their plows, and everybody ordering subsoilers and stuff is something that farmers do once a year on a spur of a moment during spring, you know. But that was our job, to make sure that people eat, that the farm products get to the the farm products get to the stores, and those fairies put them on the fairies, and the brownies and the magical creatures put them on the shelves, and all this stuff happens magically, says feminism. But this narcissistic young man, he had just ruined $1 million worth of equipment, and he didn't even realize it, because he has no sense of honor, and he has no sense of what goes on with the poor people and how we work and what we rely on. And we rely on these presses to run, and we rely on these things to we spend long hours making dyes and making sure the press is run, and making sure everything's balanced, and the guys run the jobs perfectly, and millions and millions of dollars of equipment go into this. And with a single stroke of rage and anger, the young man had ruined our overtime and ruined our weekend, and pretty much ruined a lot of our vacations, because we weren't going to get that overtime for that period of life. And then he slammed his used tongs, hot tongs. He slammed his hot tongs down. He started acting all millennial and bitching, and walked out, and we never seen him again. And I thought, wow, what a process of the old man that we had known. What a lesson. Who learned a lesson in that? Did the boy learn a lesson? Did the father give the boy a lesson? I'm sure he went home and said, yeah, I know what it's all about now. Them poor people, they work in horrible conditions. And if I don't get my shit together, Dad, I'll end up like one of these assholes down at the mill. And that was the lesson the father was trying to teach the boy. He was trying to self-actualize him, and to at all of our expenses. And that stuck with me. That story stuck with me. I worked the whole weekend that weekend, and two of the setup guys and the tool and die guy worked that weekend to get those dies back online. And I spent 2 16-hour days without fixing them presses and making sure everything, what Monday morning was going to be up and running. And I got my overtime, but a lot of guys lost in that. And the die guys were unhappy, because he didn't really want to be there that weekend. He wanted to work a 40-hour week and go camping with his buds and drink beer. But everything was screwed up upside down there for a while. And but self-actualization was the topic today, and how you do it, what motivates you to do it. Can it end up being a clusterfuck of somebody else's ideas? What his father was trying to do was self-actualize the boy, and get him into a place where he'd want to go to college at our expense, and it cost other people. And that's what happens a lot of the times. It costs other people when you start doing these things. When life coaches come around and they have no idea what they're talking about in life, a lot of times it becomes a disastrous situation of chaos and stupidity. And let me get back to this page and everything. And I was drifting around looking at things on the internet while I was talking. See, I can do that. I have a multifunctional brain. Oh, hello, Shuey. Mindframes is calling himself the pastor of the Church of Monkgtow. He's not the pastor. See how they copy me? Unoriginal people. That's why they hate when I say traditionalism and unoriginal people. I have unoriginal thoughts. Everybody knows Church of Monkgtow's right here. Sunday morning. Go your own way, man. You're forgiven from all your sins. Yeah, Darius tried that. Darius was in that crowd that came in too. But all these guys are life coaches, and that's what I'm getting at today. I'm getting at the disastrous results of life coaching. We have them everywhere in Monkgtow. We have one young man come in this week, and he was a 24-year-old man. He was very handsome, and he was going to give installers and but the thing about that is what he's saying is the myth of be like me myth. You could be like me. And a lot of these installers and a lot of these TFLers like Jamie, they can't be like me. I understand that. I understand philosophy of that. Well, all I'm saying is it's a fallacy. If you were just like me, it's the if you were like me myth. The if you were like me fallacy. And that's a horrible thing to say to somebody. And that's what we get with life coaches around here. That's what Eli tried to pull. That's what mind frames. If you were like me, and I don't want to be like him, and that violates the Monkgtow code of personalization. Let me get rid of that. I hacked to myself. The Mgtow code of personalization. It violates all those things, and with mind frames and life coaching and everything, and all they do is when you're doing sort of Maslow's hierarchy of self-actualization in a clinical process, you're taking somebody that chaos has visited their life, or somebody that's been hurt, or somebody that's been infected by this world, and in the way it infects people, everything is loss and everything is pain and everything is and people sometimes break down. And what we have with those kind of people is we have these we have people leeching on depravity, people leeching on the poor. That's what the story was about, that I told the young man had thrown. He was what the father had seen, and what the son was, and what the shop was, what the workers was, that triangle of drama. He had made it into the triangle of drama. That's all he's seen. He's seen the victim. He's seen himself as a victim, and he was going to rescue his son. He becomes the rescuer. He becomes the victim, the son, and then the son seen himself as being rescued by his father because of all these horrible people. And then when we look at ourselves, we were the victims of this horrible child that they sent to our shop, and someone that I had to rescue, the tool and die. We all changed these positions, and that pyramid, that drama pyramid of life, and Maslow's hierarchy on the outside of this triangle, sort of that drama triangle playing out for us. But it's the self, how to get to the top of the pyramid, and you can self-actualize in life. But I thought last night, my God, is it a farce? Is it unreal? Maybe it's just my blue collar, my blue collar attitude of in life and everything. So I started reading down some of these notes and everything, and I forgot to tell you the top level of self-actualization you can get to was passion and creativity and morality and problem solving, which sounds like a bunch of garbage. So I went to this article, and I'll read you some of these things off, and we'll talk about them. And there's like 30 points of self-actualization, or 18 points of self-actualization, that every life coach is going to need to know. And then we'll talk about each one of these 18 points, because it is Sunday church, and we have to have the the eulogy. Go your own way, man. Go your own way, and all your sins are forgiven from the past, and become a new person, anew. And point one is the real, not ideal. Real, not ideal. That sounds like something a life coach would talk to you about. Hey, man, stay in the reals. A new modern day life coach would be really groovy about it, because he's really cool. He's young, and he's cool, and he's hip. And he's trying to teach men that have been beat down by life about how you too can get to the top of that pyramid and be. Oh, how did Chris Cantu be a beast? Yeah, you too can get to the top of that pyramid and be a beast. Be like me. And then he's just another turd in life, turd in the big toilet of life, and that we have to deal with around here. So the first one we're going to talk about is real, not ideal. self-actualized people have a healthy relationship with reality. MGTOWs have a healthy relationship with reality. Sometimes I was looking at these things and I was thinking, do I do life coaching here? Am I guilty of doing life coaching? And that's what I'm doing on these things. I'm taking a self-introspection of myself. So bear with me here. And not a lot of people realize that when I'm talking here and I'm going through these things, I'm doing I'm doing my introspection that of myself to see if I'm doing something or I'm being hypocritical in my life. So you're going to have to bear with me, the real or the ideal. Be like me. You can be like me. The self-actualization people will tell you that you have to have a healthy relationship with reality. And when you're more comfortable with it, you do not deny it. They accept the good and bad in parts of the same spectrum where there's a balance in the universe, sort of thing. And yeah, that's a groovy line. You know, I grew up with hippies, so I know hippie speak. Learn hippie speak. They're evil people. Learn hippie speak, and that's what we get around a lot of here. We get the spectral the spectral life coaches, you know, about you know, just look up into the stars and call out to the world, call out to the universe. Oh, wrong side. Call out to the universe, and the universe will send you back riches. And but you have to be real and ideal about it, and you have to accept that it's Penn's milk jug is what it is. I don't know if you guys know what Penn's milk jug is. Just look it up. It's praying to a milk jug. You put the milk jug on a table. And you say, "Oh God of milk jugs, I need $5 to take the bus to work today. God of milk jugs." And there's three things that can happen: either you'll get the $5 and the milk jug becomes your God, or the God will say, "Come back later," and you, because the milk jug is so wise, or the milk jug doesn't give you the $5, and the milk jug is still the wisest because he didn't give you the $5 to learn how to force you to learn how to make the $5 yourself. So in all three situations, Penn's milk jug is still God. Do you like that? Yeah, I like that. I like that theory. But a lot of these theories of self-actualization will base themselves around Penn's milk jug. It's about a no-lose situation. Let me see who's in here today, and let me get back to my page. Let me pull my pretty face up here to see what's going on in my. Yeah, everything still looks good. I noticed a little crack over there, so I didn't align my. I don't care this morning. I don't care. This isn't it. Yeah, we're talking about self-actualization today, Nino. Hello, Nino. Hello, Chewy. Hello, anybody that's in today. And Penn's milk jug. Yeah, the life coaches are going to give you a situation similar to that. It's similar to the religious. People are giving you either you get the $5 either you get what you asked for and you follow the program, and the life coach seems bigger than real because it happened, or the life coach is going to tell you you have to wait for the magic to happen to become the beast that you want, and then you go, oh yeah, he's right, I gotta wait, or it won't happen and it's your fault, you're not being good enough. God knows best, and that's the life coach thing. That's the pyramid of self-actualization. Is self-actualization a myth? That's what I'm asking. I'm asking myself that question. Do I resemble this thing sometimes when I do what I do here? That's the ultimate question. That's the ultimate question that I'm trying to figure out for myself. So we'll go down these things, and I'll ask myself the question: do I do that? Do I give you fake results, or do I give you? I always, no, I don't do that. I don't think I'm the milk jug. I don't want to make myself into this bigger than life thing. I hope I don't do that. And I'll have to contemplate on that. I'll have to look at that in my life. I'll do this. And And we'll contemplate that. Now, the second thing, accountability. Self-actualized people do not get into the blame game, but look for the roles and situations to make to make improvement on that. Self-actualized people take accountability. So, what is this? A Republican? Self-actualization seems to be going down the line of republicanism and what you call utilitarianism. Open to mistakes. So here we go. The human race is seriously flawed. Now here we will go with the what I say about the human race is seriously flawed, and I make mistakes, and everybody makes mistakes. Be open to making mistakes. This is third on the self-actualized people give themselves and others the right to make a mistake and do not limit their life's experience because of fear of mistakes. Life experience is important. That's what I was asking about the 24-year-old kid. That was his criteria for being a life coach. He was a very handsome kid, and his criteria for being a life coach was that he was really handsome, so he hit the genetic lottery. And you'll notice that a lot of life coaches do that. They're handsome guys, they're good-looking guys, they're workout guys. They're like, "Come on, be the beast, guy." And somehow they hit the genetic lottery that entitles them to the privilege of being able to teach people how to hit the genetic lottery, and that's a real metaphysical thing. And that's what we try to teach we'll get down to this because I've read all these before and we'll get into it. So I don't want to go into the TFL and the incel thing here. That's the lie. That's the hook. You can be like me. You should be like me. Everybody should be like me. If you were like me, that's what Aaron Clary did. He does the, if you were like me, you would be a banker. You would be a self-actualized life coach that makes money on that. So we start looking at these life coaching things, and we start looking at, and that was number 3. Everybody makes mistakes. Forgive yourself, and I say that myself too. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for these mistakes. How I should look at what I do here, and what I do to men, and do I insult men and everything? Acceptance is the top level of self-actualization. This should get interesting. Self-actualization people, they accept ourselves, people in this world around them, and the object is generally to be aware and to be subjective of how it may deceive them. Yourself may deceive you. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about you have to know yourself. That's what I was trying to tell the incels. That goes back to section 2, open to making mistakes. You know thyself. That was one of the first things I've ever said on Mgtow. Please, man, know thyself. You cannot be a Mgtow without knowing thyself. You have to be objective and subjective, and some of the things you have to really be objective to is your faults, your downfalls. That's why 3 comes before 4. What are you? What are you in this world? Did you hit the genetic lottery? Are you pretty like me? I love saying that because it's the irony in it. Let's move on to 5. And self-actualized people are grounded in the same time to be open and new experiences. This one it starts sounding a little hippie-ish. When something starts to sound hippie-ish, I look for the con. Bring the inner child of life. Now we're talking Jung. We're talking Jung. Bring the inner child. I think we'd be talking Freud, pre-Jung, not post, pre-Jung, and then post-Jung would be get with the anime and the animus. They don't force themselves to be as others think they should be. Yeah, that's I don't know if I've ever experienced that in life, that others were trying to make me into something that they wanted to. If that happened to you and that's an issue in life, and each one of these little 18 points, they're going to try to attack an issue that the life coach is going to deal with at any moment with any type person. That's the thing that I got from these 18 these points. It's a teaching process. But that's what I was asking about Maslow's hierarchy. Was Maslow's hierarchy a teaching process to a step-by-step teaching process to get you into the best possible position you can be mentally in life? Is it a fake? Is it a fraud? Is it a myth? And that's what I was asking. That's why I'm asking these things. Um, they say be spontaneously, be spontaneous. Everybody wants to be spontaneous. I want to go to the beach right now. I'm just going to leave. Problem focusing. Now, this is something we talk about all the time. Problem focusing. I'm focusing on my life. I'm doing a self-introspection. Self-actualized people focus on the solutions for a more multi-model perspective of new ideas and opinions and problem solving. That's why everybody's on YouTube. 95% of the people are looking for some problem to be solved by in their life, some for life coaching. That's what life coaching is about. It's about some problem that I have in my life with Mgtows. That problem is obvious, and with other people, the problem is they cloak their problems. They don't say their problems. They're looking for that special person online to give them some motivation, some positive affirmations to so they can deal with those problems and everything. But most of the time problems are solved by simplifying the problem and hacking away with it, a little bit of hard work. um, they also look at the problems from above. Let me see. They also look at problems from above their emotional standpoint. Yeah, quit being emotional about these things. We always say that. This sounds like a journey in social justice warrior. Yesterday I was reading about, I'd almost forgot about him, and then I realized that he was still around. It was going full Macintosh. It was Jeremy Macintosh, I think. Uh, if you guys know the story about Jeremy Macintosh, I was thinking about Jamie and thinking, is he inspiring to be? Is he just inspiring to be Macintosh? A lot of guys would inspire to be Macintosh. And then I realized, yes, he was still around. And I didn't realize that he had done the stuff with Anita Sarkeesian, which makes him even a bigger ass than he used to be, which is hard to do. You can't. How can you become a bigger ass than going full Macintosh? Jonathan Macintosh. But he will continue until he gets old and he realizes that visits everybody in life. But we'll get to see that in our lifetime if he keeps going. Um, Let's get back on the topic. Number 7, desire for detachment and privacy. We talked about the other day. We talked about some people like solitude. Solitude's good for everybody. While what do they? Well, let's. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's see what they have to say about it. While interactive and well connected with their surroundings, self-actualized people have a need to have time for themselves, for quiet time and reflection. Okay, yeah, that's pretty solid advice. Uh, if you go back a couple videos, I'll post it in the low bar, and MGTOW's like desire to be. We desire to be. Um, Solitude. We desire a solitude. Some people get a lot from solitude. I do. I read, and when I'm alone and I just watch something, or I stare off into the vast middle distance of my life and think about my problems and stuff, and then that seems to be where solitude brings you to. And some people like it, some people hate it. It's different personalities and everything. Let's talk about autonomy. Number 8, autonomy. Self-actualized people are independent of their culture. Ooh, we're going to do a culture twist. See, this is when it becomes all about what do they call that? It comes about social programming and that, and then media programming. When they start, there always got to be some culture twist around this, and I guess that's something if you want to bait somebody on. If I wanted to become a life coach, I would have to look at one of the things I would use for. I'm an Irish guy, so I'm going to focus on all of Irish people, and we're going to do the cultural thing. And I'm going to say, hey, just you can be like me, all you poor Irish people. Just I'll play a ukulele or something, or play a musical instrument for you and dance, and we can focus on the cultural aspects that surrounds me and also surrounds you, and that'll give you a better direction in your life about being conditioned by cultural aspects of life, and you can take that out and use your specialness and stuff like that. So autonomy, that's what they would call autonomy, but that's not what I call it. Just life coaching bullshit. Number 9 was appreciation of simple things. I don't think we have to go deep into that, and we have it's like appreciate. That would be minimalism. That would be Mgtow minimalism. Appreciate the simple things in life. Go out to the parks and minimalize your spending, and use the natural world to your benefit. And that's exactly what they say. Walk in the park. Use the natural world, get in touch with the universe that you live in, and connect with mighty Gaia, God, that'll show you the way. That's the female religion, by the way. That's why it's funny. And let me check back in with the chat and my pretty face and everything. Got to drive. Hello, Nino. Hello, everybody that's listening. There's not too many people listening. There must be another podcast going on. I'll check that. And but yeah, we're talking about self-actualization today and that stuff and all that garbage and life coaching. There's a lot of life coaches around here, and is it a myth? Is this thing a myth? And are we just being really insultive when we do it? It's a funny thing that we talk about around here. It's a funny thing that we do in life. Are we here in Monkgtow to promote the word of Monkgtow? And this is one of the things that's interesting to me. Are we here in Monkgtow to promote the word in Monkgtow for a reason? Or are we here to help men, helping hands, helping themselves? At a certain point, hello, Father, no. At a certain point, we have to ask our question, what is Monkgtow? What is the purpose for this? Did we come up flat on that hierarchical needs thing, or did we get it right? Is there a purpose behind this thing? Are we driving forward to change the cultural Marxism in the world and change the life perspective of ouch, I burnt myself, of senators and congressmen and people, and they're gonna like vote pro male and stuff like that? I don't know. Or has it become watered down there? It's just about a search for some kind of metaphysical happiness in life. Is that it? Is that all there is? Is that already is that all there is with Monkgtow anymore? Has it become another you can be a beast, just follow my 24 methods and you too can be successful at life, you just like me? I could show a picture of like a Ferrari in my driveway, and it's so sad. It's so sad. Yeah, but we've seen a lot of life coaches around here lately. Coach Eli, the most unsuccessful life coach ever. Coach, Coach, Coach Mind Frames. You too could be missing all your teeth and just smoke crack and buy my bitch a new Mind Frames. That guy's a funny guy. Oh, you could be just like him and that all that horror. And yeah, wow. You got to be pretty low if you want to be just like Mind Frames. You got to be pretty low. Christ. But Howard does his special version of life coaching, and Big John did his special version of life coaching, and pretty much Aaron Clary seen Mgtow as a receptacle for his life coaching. It all focuses around your penis. You know, you Mgtow becomes a receptacle for life coaching. Christ. Oh man, I hate this place some days. Maybe it's just because I'm the smartest person in the universe and so fucking handsome. It's unbelievable. I know, narcissism. But yeah, today we're taking a look at, and now I'm getting depressed now that I'm taking a look at this Maslow's myth of hierarchy today, and I'm getting depressed, so I'm getting sarcastic, and whether I'm going to go on with this thing or not. Yeah, I'll go on with it and continue to torture myself with this for the rest of the podcast, because it is only one single podcast. We talked about appreciating the simple things in life. Next on the actualization triangle to success, we'd have honesty. Be honest with yourself. I think we covered that with being self-autonomous, and we covered that under the desire for privacy and stuff like that. It all goes back to being honest with yourself, and self-actual people. What do they do? Let's see what they say about this. Be honest and being blunt with others. You got to be honest, and if you're going to be a good life coach, you got to be really blunt with people and be honest about what you see. You know, it's like, hey, fatty. Stop eating those donuts and get into the gym, and you can be just like me. No, some people can't be just like you. Some people are natural heavy. Some people are naturally thin. Some people will never grow muscle. Some people have long hair. Some people have medium hair. Some people have big noses, small noses. It's just genetics playing out, and no life coach in the world is going to overthrow genetics. That's what I try to tell people. And I think that's me being honest. Me being honest with the insellers, me being honest with the TFLers, as you guys were born what you were born into. You can cheat genetics by taking steroids and stuff like that, but that's only going to be cheating genetics, and your kids are still going to look like you should have looked. I tell the story often about that. Get comfortable with yourself, and be one with yourself, and learn yourself, and be okay with what you do in this world. And that's the biggest thing you can do. And that's the biggest, and that's the point of life coaching, I suppose. And the point of self-actualization. Be okay with yourself. Fill all those holes in your soul with you, and become the best you can possibly be, and then be happy with it. So that's honesty. Point 11 would be is one of these freaky ones: mystical and peak experiences. Ooh, mystical and peak experiences. We see a lot of the mystical, spirituality around in here. They say self-actualized people have regular mystical and peak experiences. Yes, the red pill. Yes, the red pill, mystical. God, I'm really spiritual. I'm not religious. That's what every girl says. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. And then you want to just bam, smack them like, shut up. Uh, Mystical and peak experiences, self-actualization. People have mystical and peak experiences. They can see things that other people can't see. Their authentic self. They can see their authentic self through the haze of the world. During these experiences, they feel a oneness with the great world around them. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. When you say it, it's a beautiful thing. And it's living it and it's believing it. And if you believe something enough and make it incorporate it into your life, I guess that will become a part of your reality in life, like Jesus, or, get yourself some Jesus. And, if you believe these mystical things, but there's a lot of things mystical. People they believe in Mother Gaia Earth, some spirit guide calling out to the universe, and the universe will send you back gifts and packages with bow ties on them from Amazon. Things like that. Wow, delusional stuff. Yeah, if you're going to be a good life coach, it's got to be based on a delusion, an unachievable. That's what unobtaining them is, my level 7. That's why I think it's so funny when I say it. Unobtaining them, you can get to this level 7 monkhood that's unobtainable, and then you reach the mythical and spiritual. The mythical and spiritual experience of your lifetime that can only come through Mgtow. Woo! No. Maybe I do that sometimes. Maybe I'm guilty of that. Yeah. And this was about me looking at myself and being, being a cheerleader for Mgtow. And I guess that's what we're talking about. This mystical peak experiences, peak F to G compulations. When is your peak happiness at? Stuff like that. All of which I've talked about before. That nobody listens to and nobody cares about. So we're going to go with this oneness, becoming oneness. Self-actualized people become more of a global soul. This guy says, with a concern with the multitude of mankind, and you're just out there doing good everywhere you go. It's like flipping fives to bums, and you're out there like, hey, little girl, do you need a dolly? Here's a doll. I just so happen to have a puppy and a doll underneath my my robe, my self-actualization robe, and I always keep a puppy with me just in case somebody's sad. Here's a puppy, that's what I do all day. I just walk around and flip fives to whores, and boom, boom, boom. I just flip out those fives and give out puppies and positive affirmations. I'm just a positive affirmation giver. Nah, yeah, that's pretty sickening thought, isn't it? We're gonna stop for a few minutes, come back to reality, and step 12. Step 12, the alpha gets some big millionaire status and some bitches destroy you. Yeah, yeah. So we're talking about self-actualization today. We're talking about the self-actualization, self-coaching of stuff, and I'm going through the 18 steps of how to become self-actualized, or how to become a self-actualization coach. So each and every one of you guys out there, each and every one of you guys can follow my proven method and take that out for $39.99. And I will write it down and I will send it to you, and I will give that to you I will give you this lesson for free. That's what they do. I hate that. I like the pitch on those things. Like, for $39.99, I could teach you how to fix all your problems in life. And no, I can't. I can't do that. It's basically, that would be too hard of work, and I'm really fucking lazy. And second of all, I don't have that much knowledge. God didn't impart me with that kind of knowledge in life. But that's the myth. That's the myth of self-actualization. That's what we're talking about today. No person in this world gets that kind of knowledge. So whether you can just bust through chaos with your boom, your big fist of your beast mode. You bust through chaos with that, and ever you come on, and you're like Dwayne Johnson, just and your boat, your Baywatch boat, just scooping bitches up and like throwing them in your boat and saving everybody. And you got a puppy under one. Here's a puppy, kid. Be happy. And you got like metaphysical knowledge and all that stuff that nobody else does. And you're the perfect positive aphorism machine. Yeah. I guess that would make me Dwayne Johnson. Or Matthew McConaughey. And there's only one Matthew McConaughey and there's only one Dwayne Johnson. So that's life coaching but you have to start with being really handsome. You gotta say, I gotta fix this thing. It's starting to bother me. Sorry about that. Is it? Yes, it's perfect. Hello, Whiskey. Hello, everybody. Go your own way. Go your own way, man. And today we're talking about self-actualization coaches and positive affirmation coaches and that stuff. And I wanted to get away from that because I was kind of needed to stretch out there for a second. And where were we at? We were on 10 or we were on 12? The 12 steps. We're doing the 18 steps of self-actualization. And I'm out of coffee. See, this is why I like to do it in my kitchen, so I can just reach behind me, turn on a coffee maker, pour my coffee, and then just pour my milk in there. But somebody had problems with that. So we're doing, where are we at on this? Healthy interpersonal relationships. You guys want to talk about healthy interpersonal relationships? That would be another facet of life coaching that you can get into. Self-actual people have clear boundaries in their relationships. They're free of drama and anxious attachments. They have more profound relationships, seriously deep relationships with the metaphysical connection between people and like adults on a deep level. And there's a greater love and focus in this thing. That's the garbage and lingo that they're going to give you. Relationships meaning positive emotions. Yeah, that would be if you're selling yourself as a life coach and everything, get into beast mode. I'm going to teach you how to self-actualize into the boundaries and relationships of life. And that's what that young man was selling yesterday. That when I started thinking about this thing, he was selling positive results in a future relationship to Mgtows, which is really fucking just stupid. but it's just really, really stupid. But yeah, that's where this self-actualization myth comes in. Like we're gonna teach you something that you didn't know about relationships, Mgtow, and you can't teach Mgtow anything about them things because we are the ones that been through it. Yeah, you're gonna teach me something about it. Something. Yeah, there's a Nawalt out there for me. But that goes back to where we at. That goes back to step. What was it? But acceptance about who you are. As soon as you get into the acceptance thing, you go through these steps, and they're perfectly aligned to get you to this perfect idea of a delusion. The next step would be another social justice step. We went to 13 was health interpersonal relationships. 14 would be equality. Yes, equality. The social justice step number 14 and self-actualizing. Now that would be this thing where you focus on a group, and that's where culture comes in, and your culture, and you're focusing on a group so you can sell them metaphysical stuff like self-actualization and that stuff. And you start with Maslow's hierarchy, and you teach your group, and we're doing this for a reason today because because of the church people are in on us. The summer self-actualized people, the SPIs will be coming around. They're going to be teaching you something. So I want you guys to know the steps of this. Equality will be, they'll focus on a certain segment of these people have never experienced equality in their life. These poor women, these poor these Irish people, these black people, these Jews, these Indians, these Hawaiians, these all these other people, they're not like me, and I know you're not like me because no one could be like me, but but if you were just like me, all your equality would come to you. That's what they're saying. Self-actualized people believe in an equal nature of humans, and we fall for this stuff once in a while. And Mgtow too. When we say, men just want equality, they just want equality for men, and stop doing the delusion that women need equality, because women don't need equality. Men are the persecuted gender. So we fall for that too, and that's me doing my self introspection with myself. What faults do I have in this thing? The equality myth. Yeah, the equality myth. So next step 15, playfulness. I don't know where this came in. I found it to be quite Dr. whatever his name is or her name is self-actualized people are more playful in nature, love and laugh and make jokes, and are just more centered and well balanced, and are open to the other things. And great, you become the entertainment at the party. Isn't that what I said a couple years ago? And I never got really back to it about uh, traditional people. As a male, you become the entertainment. That's what a girl is going to say about you. And you've heard this off of the lips of females before. Oh, he's so playful, and I like that. He becomes the entertainment for your life. You become the entertainment for your wife, her friends, your dating partner, all her friends, and as long as you're that humorous, sparky, love to laugh, make you jokes, as long as you're that guy, as long as you're that special guy, everybody will love you. But try not being that guy, because that's a utility. That's what we talk about with utility. Try not being that guy for a week and see if everybody still loves you. Then you will learn about reality in life. Yeah. And it's sad. And people are narcissistic, and people want to make you into that special person that entertains them 100% of the time. Like a dog wants you to scratch his belly. My dog wants him. My dog wants me to scratch his belly 24/7. He wants chest rubs and back rubs, and he wants me to groom him and do those things for him, and just rub his back, and he wants those things, and he'll take a belly rub from anybody. And he's like, I don't like belly rubs, but he does. Uh, but yeah, everybody wants you to be the utility, like you're like a dog does. Most people of low intelligence, that's all they think about is hedonism and making other people into their utility for happiness in life. That's what a traditionalism about. You make your spouse or your partner into a play toy. Uh, in a sense, feminism is not wrong about that. We all men, when we get married, we make our spouses into penis pockets and play toys for our entertainment, and that's what the world wants of you. And then we're so hypocritical about this thing that we say, I'm done with I'm done with that as a MGTOW. But we want to make other things into play toys, but it's not okay for other things to make us into play toys. And it's sad. And there's the meme about that. It's Woody, and he says, "You're a child's play toy. That's all you are." Uh, and that's lesson number 15. And self-actualized people are playful by nature. Creativity. Self-actualized people are creative and express themselves in many positive forms in writing, speech, art, painting. Why does it always have to be? Why does it always have to be writing, speaking, playing, painting? Why can't it be? Why can't art include? Oh, job well done on a wall. You know, art, the artistry of the artistry of a working man, what beauty he does when he makes those buildings and stuff like that, you know. Oh, wait a second, that would have to give you'd have to give credit to men about what we do then. So I guess you can't be about, you know, the beautiful job he done on welding that steel rod for the building that he's building. You know, that's a wonderful bead you put down there. That's art. It's art, and look at the fascia of the wall. Look at the fascia. Look what you did there. Uh, yeah, it always have to be creativity seems to have to come through the female mind, writing, speaking, playing, painting, all those uh, all those all those things that you don't want to take in college, and you might want to take a writing course and a speaking course, but you don't want to do gender studies or art unless you're an artist and you're really good at it, then you can make a living at it, but you can't make somebody into an artist. Resistance to incalculation. That's the second one. Incalculation. I don't know what this is about because I think it's a pretty in-depth word there, and calculation. Self-actualized people resist tendencies to any particular culture. Ooh, we're going back with the culture thing. The culture maintains strong individuality while learning at times that's positive for others in your culture to just get in touch with that. We don't want to do that. We already talked about that. So they double down on 17. So really there's only 17. There's probably only about 15 or 12 steps to this. Imperfections. Now they're going to double down the good stuff. The good coach, he's going to double down at the end is in imperfections. Self-actualized people are aware of the facts that others are imperfect and you're imperfect and the whole world's imperfect, and that's what I say. The human race is totally flawed, and maybe I should never say that again because that's me doubling down on step 18 of life coaching. That's what this was about. It's about taking a look at myself and deciding where I kind of fit in and stuff, and what things I'm doing wrong today, and but there's an awareness in being. It brings opportunities. The awareness that brings opportunities to constantly learn new ways to grow, transition from one thing to the next, being content with oneself starts with knowing your imperfections. And I guess that's a pretty good message and everything. And that's all 18 steps of how life coaches are going to. And there's probably 100 or 200 more of these things that we can go down, but I really don't feel like doing 200 or 300 of them today. I think you get the gist of it. Mgtows are pretty smart, and they'll put two and two together inside of a very shortened sentence and make it a direct sentence and realize the point that was taken. Drink apples, eat milk. Self-actualized people are more modernists. Yeah, yeah. So the life coaching around here, the coach Eli, the coach Big John, the coach. We got all different kinds of coaches. We got Coach Mind Frames now. We got Coach Eli. We got Coach Big John. We got that very good looking 24-year-old SPI guy. He's a new guy, so he's not the old SPI guy. And he's doing self-actualization and Maslow's hierarchy of how to get you into a perfect place, because all you need to do really is put a girl in it, and that's what he thinks, and that's going to fix your whole life, having a life partner that's going to share in your dreams and your hopes and desires. And And that's pretty bizarre, and that's what we get around here, and it's pretty insulting with us. And I get insulted when I hear it because I don't need no 24-year-old kid trying to sell me that somehow I'm gonna go back in time, and I'm gonna be able to be a 24-year-old handsome Puerto Rican kid instead of an Irish guy that was born into the working class. Uh, no, no, no. Life has chaos in it, and life has set boundaries. What's the world you were born into, and the better chances you're going to have a better chance in life when you get affixed to the world you were born into and how to defeat that, rather than some metaphysical dream with moonbeams and you can be just like me, because you can't be just like everybody else. And that's what I'll tell each and every one of you guys. You can't be everybody else. You can't be me. I can't be you. I can't be Father No. Whiskey can't be Father No. I can't be Whiskey. Chewbacca can't be Whiskey. There's no way. You can emulate the people. You can mimic people. You can learn things from people, but you can never truly walk in their shoes. Your destination in life was what you were born into, and most of us realize that at a certain point. I was born a poor Irish child in Cleveland with a family of 9. I have to work for a living. I'm not a special guy. I'm not a I wasn't born into that. Sometimes I wish I can go back and, like, oh man, I got these 2 great parents. One's a doctor and one's a lawyer, and they got millions of dollars, and I'll never have to work a day in my life. That would be a beautiful thing, but that's not reality for most of us. Uh, there's a lot of people that like to attach to that and sell you some pipe dreams, the metaphysical happiness about self-actualizing in your life. Uh, then chaos comes to visit us. That's what the same lie. It was formed on the same lie that told me if I got married, and the church was telling me, the church was just doing Maslow's hierarchy of self-actualization. They were saying, Joe, all you need is to take this special creature right over there. Look at her. Look at that ass. She's perfect. She's got a perfect heart-shaped ass. And I said, oh yeah, she does, and she's beautiful. And all you got to do is take that special creature into your life, and everything was going to be okay. You just mate, have kids. And they were doing Maslow's hierarchy of interpersonal relationships, how to get to the top of that hierarchy. And then when you get to that top, you realize there's hypergamy ladder, and then there's bridge to nowhere, and you fall off of it and onto your face, and then you become a slave for the world. And those same people that told you that lie are just laughing and pointing at you and going, hey, bud, you failed. Try again. Like the devil himself. And what I would like to do to these people really are take my shillelagh and throw down on them. But that's the truth in life. Don't fall for those things, and that's what Mgtow is about. Don't fall for those things. Don't fall for those things. There's something wrong with the world. There's something wrong with the world. There's something wrong with the world. Don't be that guy that falls for that stuff. But in Mgtow, we take a different view on that. We do a deep introspection, see where our faults are in life, and that's what that was about today. That's what this thing was about. Taking a deep introspection in how I do things around here, and try not to be so insultive when I like being sarcastic and insultive towards everybody, but not be so insultive toward the people that I truly appreciate. And that's you, Mgtow. Every one of you guys, I truly appreciate. Uh, but just do the Mgtow and look deep into the Mgtow. I think all the answers for life are there. From my experience in life and my sort of zany, sarcastic way of projecting onto this thing called YouTube, I do believe that all the answers to life is because I'm a walking because I'm a walking example of it. I'm a product of Monkgtow. 10 years ago, my life sucked. My life was the worst. It was, you know, and there was nothing else in my life. These traditional people, these methods that they were giving me, were all failing. The only thing that worked in my life was Monkgtow. Start thinking about myself. Stop being so damn altruistic. We can do altruistic things and do those things in levels, but not for the whole world. I'm not pumping $5 bills out and pulling puppies from my monk's robe and you know and levitating for the crowds. I no longer am the entertainment. It's the first thing I cut off. I stop. I stop being the entertainment in life. And I know a lot of you guys understand that. I'm not the entertainment. I'm not the dancing monkey anymore. I'm not the utility for so all the girls can feel happy and joyous about their lives and everything. And you know, he's so spontaneous. uh, but Mgtow's a long journey, and it's a depressing journey sometimes. And sometimes you're gonna have to look at yourself, and you're gonna have to look at the things you know that made you in this world, and the things that you hold, those little snakes you hold dear to your soul. You know, those snakes that are hatching, those awful things, and those little trolls and those little demons. Uh, we try to get rid of. Sometimes you're gonna have to look at them and like Elkhart Elkham Tolle says, you know, you got to look at your crazy, you know, stare it in the eye, and become a better person. And that's all we teach around here, and it's for free. And these life coaches that come around there's always the hook, there's always the catch. I know life. I know you got to make a living in life. I know that more than anybody in this whole world knows that. I know you got to make a living. But some things should be for free, and Monkgtow is for free. Give it out, and then share it, and give back to people what was freely given to you. That's all we ask in here. That's it. And that was my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I can be exceptionally, I you know, I know the way I can be, and if that offends you, then I'm sorry about that. But I am, uh, I am the way I am, and but now I got a lot to think about, and that's good. That I spend the rest of the day thinking about my issues, about my problems, about my imperfections and things like that. That gives me a better view on life. It makes it more realistic. What do I have to do to succeed? And sometimes I forget that. I mean, I do the same old traditional mistakes that I've always done. I fell for the same old thing. My brother used to do this thing to me because he knew I'd fall for it every single time. You know, Hot Wheel tracks. You guys have Hot Wheel tracks. Every kid's got Hot Wheel tracks, and he would he would run into my room and slap me in the face with the Hot Wheel track and yell something mean to me, and then he would drop the Hot Wheel track, and then I'd pick up the Hot Wheel track and run after him, and then he'd run down the hall in front of my mom and say, "Joey's hitting me with the Hot Wheel track." And then my mom would grab the Hot Wheel track and then beat me with it, and I'd fall for it over and over and over. And that's what life does with you. Some moron's going to run into your existence and beat you with the Hot Wheel track. The first thing you have to do is realize that revenge is served cold. Don't pick up the Hot Wheel track. Don't fall for the bait. Think about what you're going to do. Don't run out there and be an ass and fall for those things. That's life. That's the best. That's the best. That's the best I can give you. When someone bashes you in the face, fools. It's a fool that jumps in, and fools jump in. Step back, survey your situation. Revenge is best served cold. Uh, Keep that, tuck it. Always look for that opportunity to get back at him. And I got better at it in life. My brother would do that to me a lot. And I appreciate those lessons from him because he was teaching me a lesson on that. And I suppose I taught him a few lessons in life. Uh, but yeah, that's going to happen to us Mgtows too. Someone's going to jump into Monkgtow and they're going to slash you in the face with a Hot Wheel track, a metaphysical Hot Wheel track. And they hurt. And they hurt. But what they're really looking for is you to jump so they can run back to mommy, the mythical mommy creature, that ego, that thing in their head that's killing them. And then, look at Joe's, a meanie. He's a meanie. Look at him. He's a meanie. And I still fall for that these days. But that's the bait. That's the trap. That's what men do. Don't fall for that anymore, man. That's my lesson. My lesson I can share with you because I have to live it every day. So I'm almost about to the end of this thing. I hope we learned something today. I did. I hope we can learn something about ourselves each and every day. That's what Monkgtow's about, grabbing a little tidbit of life and looking around and examining it in the reality of light. That's it. And thanks a lot, each one of you, for coming around to Sunday church and go your own way, and all your sins are forgiven. And let me do it from the distance. Go your own way, Monkgtow. All your sins are forgiven, and there's always something to learn. And we can take that out into the world and be better people, more suited for the harsh environment that we have to live in. And that's life, dealing with chaos. But I'm going to end this thing because I don't have guests anymore. You probably noticed that. And it's just 100% Joe in life. And that's what it's always supposed to be, a point where you grow into 100% you, and be happy with that. And whatever life has given you, be happy with it. Try to make the best of it. That's all they want in the self-actualization group and the life coaching group, is you to be happy, but they want to make some money off of it. And in Monkgtow, you can get that for free. Just be happy with who you are in Monkgtow. And like always, the most important part of Monkgtow is you, each and every one of you, because without you, I would just be talking to that metaphysical middle distance in my life that I used to talk to and scream out to. Hey, what's going on? The middle distance of my soul, I suppose. But thanks a lot for coming around, man, and thanks a lot for dealing with my wacky craziness sometimes, and my all my faults, and I know it's the prettiness. I said that to a girl in Convenient the other day. She was like, "Man, this line is huge," and I says, "Yeah, I like to think that they all come in to see my prettiness," and she just didn't understand that. But it's the sarcasm that I like and enjoying that. But thanks for coming around, and thanks for being Monkgtow. Always Monkgtow. Thanks for being Monkgtow. And you guys have a great day. Get out there and cook something. I think I'm gonna throw on some chicken, maybe beer can chicken. I think I'm gonna do some beer can chicken today. I learned that on YouTube. But have a great day, and If you didn't listen to the whole thing, go back and listen. And we were talking about self-actualization today, and we're talking about life coaching, and we're talking about scammers, and we're talking about Mgtow, and we're talking about a lot of things. If you get something, I hope you got something from it. Thanks a lot. And thanks for being Mgtow.